All
Yeah.
right, kick it off,
Okay.
Jeanluc.
All right. So I'm gonna start with an interesting one. Sugar or salt?
Sugar for me.
Salt.
Salt. Okay. Nice. 40 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Fahrenheit?
I need to convert that. I don't know what 40 degrees Fahrenheit is.
40 Fahrenheit should be around 5 Celsius, I think, somewhere around that.
Ooh, trick question. I'll take the 40 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, 40 degrees Celsius.
Yeah. And the last one, uh, football, which soccer, football, or fishing.
Soccer.
Ooh. Mm, let's go with fishing. Yeah, fishing, sure.
Okay, okay. The one that I wanna go into is the because Vincent is saying no sugar nor salt. Well, you have to pick one. So the one that I want to go into is the sugar or salt question.
Okay. More depth on that?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Sugar is addictive and it destroys. It is sweet and I use it from time to time in a dessert or something. But I know that salt had more benefit on my life. I used to in the morning when I woke up in the past during my competitions every morning I drink salt water. And that is because I did a study. I had friends with whom I brainstormed and they told me that and I came to know that sea salt, pure salt or kosher salt helps you to balance your immune system with a bit of lemon, with a few drops of lemon. And I I didn't everything went well and mostly they say what do you feel? I say when everything goes well I can't tell you if there's something wrong, but it surely adds because everything is going well. And but that is my explanation for it. We all know what sugar does, so and we think that salt is also destructive, but both have their pros and cons, and you have to look at which in which phase of life you are, what do you want to achieve, and how either or none of them can benefit to your life. Because when I eat sugar, when I have chocolate every day, I don't have issues with it with my weight or something, but I know that it doesn't add value to my the quality of life, because I know step by step, bit by bit, I'm destroying myself on the long run.
So how do you measure your sugar intake on a daily basis? Are you like completely kicking off any sugars, or how do you do it? I mean, in Suriname, a lot of products, almost everything has sugar in it. How do you deal with that? Or do you have any tips for people who are looking for a less a life with less sugar?
Mostly, I don't tell them to measure or something, but I will give you my part first. And how I measure, I don't measure it. I don't even add. I don't know when the last time was that I added sugar in something, because most of my meals when I prep it myself is I eat because I need to be healthy. I want to be healthy so I can lift and I get stronger, push myself. When I'm healthy, I can do for more for myself and for others. That is the main part. So I eat to live. I don't live to eat. So I give my body what it needs, not what I want to eat and what I love. Right? So, and in that process, when I give my body what it needs, I also love it because it benefits me. And so I don't measure anything. I mostly my preferred meals are cooked potatoes or whatever, bananas, whatever. That food that is whole, and rice. And mostly when I need to cook for myself, it's just I have electronic cooker, so I put in the potatoes, I weigh it, and eggs. I have an egg cooker, so it's quick. I don't lose time hours cooking because cooking is not my hobby. So yet, so I make it quickly so that I can feed my body with what it needs. And on the other side is when I have an when I feel like I want to eat something, a piece of chocolate, a piece of cake, or anything, even a KFC or whatever. I have it. I don't make issues about it, and am how do you call it, disappointed after that. No, I just eat what I feel like to eat. But most of the time, when I know that what you do most of the time, what you feed your body with most of the time will be the result, will become you will become that. So when I most of the time when I eat healthy, and sometimes I put something unhealthy in there, I know that it's balanced out because most of the time it's all healthy. And for others, what I advise them is to make an analysis for analyze their week, what they eat, how much they eat, what they eat. So I look and drink, and together with them I check and I ask them, what can you do to remove, put one healthy meal extra and remove something that is unhealthy. Some people want to throw their whole week plan overboard just to become healthy, and just like they go up, they go down again. And I tell them step by step. The first thing that you need to do is log your meals for a week, and after that we'll talk. If you don't have the discipline in that, I cannot help you further. Right? It's one step, and after that I tell them what is the one thing you can remove, at least maybe for a week, maybe for a month. If you can, one thing in a month, it's okay with me. And I don't tell them to change their whole plan. We just adjust simple little proportions, for example. And I also ask them, how do you think this benefits you? Why do you eat that? Why do you put this in your body? You want to be healthy, but you're having this. It's all about what is your goal. And eating whatever you want, it's also no problem for me. It's what is your goal, and if that makes you happy, that's okay with me. But my part is to make you aware, but not fight you for what you're eating. Else I would have troubles with all my family members.
Yeah, I can actually attest to what
So Diego,
we, yeah. I
is
just
there
want
is
to
a
follow.
test first, and I'll ask the question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on what Jeanluc said, because that logging part especially, because last year back during the lockdown period, you get bored out of your mind and you start reading labels on the ingredients you buy, checking the calorie count, protein count. So I actually started logging every day what I was taking in, and if you do it every day, at a certain point, you start to realize, oh, okay, I'm not getting enough calories in. Oh, I'm eating this. Oh, this kind of food has so much fat or something. It just gives you perspective on what you're eating. And I don't log anything anymore, but I'm more, how do you call it, spatially aware when I go shopping for something. Oh, uh, just buy something simple or eat some fruits instead of buying that chocolate or something. I still have a sweet tooth every now and then, but yeah, I barely eat any sweets or candy anymore. It's just basic food just to get me through the day.
What I wanted to ask you, Diego, is there something maybe last year or this year that you said this is a change that I'm gonna make in my life that's gonna benefit my health? Is there one thing, if you could name one thing that you're like, okay, this is what I changed. What is it? And maybe also one thing that you're trying to change, but it just won't go.
One thing that I actually do almost every day or every other day. I work out in my room. It started that same time I started tracking food. I did this at the end of 2019 after I read James Clear's book on habit creation. I just started with 5 push-ups a day. But when the lockdown happened back overseas in New Zealand, I took it to another level. There are some YouTube challenges where you had to do certain sets. So it was like 100 push-ups a day, or a day, one day resting, next day another variation. So I actually kept that flow going even out of lockdown, and I still have that habit now. And I gotta say, it definitely makes you feel better and more energized. And yeah, you just look at yourself with more confidence.
Yeah,
If
I
that
can
answers
imagine.
your question.
I can imagine. Yeah, so going back to, because somebody mentioned, let me see in the comments if I can find it back. Fitness goals. I wouldn't call it fitness goals. I would say that I my goal for 2021 is 10,000. So I've been noting down things that I can get 10,000 off, or make 10,000 off, or do 10,000 off. And then somebody, I think it was Faust, to mention, yeah, do 10,000 push-ups, or do push-ups. And I was like, yeah, 10,000 push-ups sounds like a great goal for somebody that doesn't work out, because you have to imagine that, okay, I'm going towards 40. I'm still considering myself a 20-year-old, but I'm going towards 40. So working out and starting from scratch can be difficult. I mean, somebody who's in their 20s is going to laugh and going to be like, 10,000 push-ups in a year, that's nothing. That's around 30 push-ups a day. I can easily do 30 push-ups a day. But for somebody who's been out of shape for a couple of years, I think that's an excellent goal, because you're going to have to pace yourself. You can go immediately towards 30 or 40 push-ups a day. You have to build it up, start from scratch, start doing sets for 5 or 7, and then after a month you've built up enough stamina that you can gradually. But then again, it's something that you can do. It's not a mountain that you're going to look towards and say like, this is no way going to happen. 10,000 push-ups in a year, it's way too much, I can't do it. For some it might even be so. That's But for me, as somebody who played sports 5 times a week at the peak of my career, even though it was an amateur career, I mean, 10,000 push-ups for 2021 sounds like a very reasonable target to it. So that's the commitment that I made for this year. And another commitment that I made was one one carbonated beverage per day. So I'm not gonna kill myself in saying like, yeah, I have to diet. I'm not gonna get any sugar intake. I'm only gonna drink water, but I'll allowing myself one carbonated or one drink that's with added sugars per day. And one thing that really isn't working out for me is going to bed before midnight. I think that's for me the hardest goal that I really want to. But on the other side, my current situation constantly isn't, the priorities that I have aren't allowing it to be a top priority at the moment. So that's something that I'm constantly reconsidering what I should do.
Yeah, the sleeping part, I also have that problem. The moment I got back here, back there, I actually went to bed at 10 p.m. every night, almost every night when
Okay.
I was studying. But I'm not sure if the jet lag lasted the whole year, and when I got back here, I just fell into the old habit again. But I think a radical environment change can help you pick up new things.
You mean like having a child? You mean, is that a radical environment change?
Having a what?
Having a child?
Well, yeah, I guess I can't really talk on that topic, but sure, share your uh,
Yeah.
experience with us.
Yeah, I think for me that was the toughest part. When you have children, kind of your rhythm changes. I mean, for the good as well. I think I'm very glad that my wife and my children are the reason that I have a daily rhythm, because I have to bring them to school. So I have to get up every day at a certain time, because I'm responsible for the kids in the morning. I have to make sure they get everywhere on time. So that really helped me out. On the other side, it takes, and you have to consider that I'm an only child. So I had all the time to myself. I didn't have to share any time. So the first change was when I started being in a committed relationship. All of a sudden, your time is not fully yours anymore. Then you get married. Then it's even more. because you made a commitment to spend time with your significant other. And then the first child comes in, and then a portion of your time goes away again, and then the second child comes in. And I've heard that after the second one, it doesn't matter anymore because you basically don't have any time anymore. But it's a commitment. It's the way that you move, the way that your hours during the day fluctuate. I mean, I what I do try to commit is between 6 and 8 p.m. It's family time, and we were rediscussing our commitments again today. The cell phones should be off between 6 and 8. Like the last 2 hours that you're before your children go to bed, spend time with them, and then after 8 o'clock when they're sleeping, commit to doing a date night or commit to finishing off some work that you wanted to do. And that's what happens with me. I create content now on a daily basis. I put out content on a daily basis, and I end up after this one, I want to go to bed, but then I still have to upload content to either TreeSpeak or YouTube, and that's kind of the struggle that I'm working with here. Fishant, I do want to ask because I think there are several interesting questions here in the chat as well. Um, you covered the part about sugar gives you joy. So Giorgio, like Fishan said, it doesn't have to be that you take away all the sugars. Stefan dropped in, start drinking tea without sugar if you're a tea person. And then an interesting one I would like to discuss with you, Fishan, is the one that Vincent mentioned. Something I'm trying to change but won't is get rid of the last part of the belly fat. And I know for people that are really committed. I think that's the last part. The first part is very hard because you have to get into the rhythm, you have to get into the routine. But then there's also always another hump along the way that kind of it you just can't seem to get over that hump. So do you have any advice on that as well?
Yes. Okay, and that depends totally on the person, what he looks like, what his body type is, and I'm in no way capable of giving advice on a piece on that. I have the people who I ask for advice mostly, and those who know it, those who have experience on that level. But most of the time, it depends on when we go on a diet. We we go on a strict diet, and we don't know, the body doesn't react on it anymore, and it's a plateau we get. For example, I'll give you an example. I'm the current best power lifter, and since last year I switched to from powerlifting to fitness bodybuilding, and I knew that with powerlifting I was in my comfort zone. So I knew if I wanted to grow mentally, because when I give my time to something, I want to be at my best for myself. And I decided to hire a trainer, and that is one of my best friends. And I know now, and I know that when he trains you or you train with him, you're gonna hate every moment, and you're gonna cry. You're gonna have problems with him. You're gonna hate him. But what is the goal? The goal is to grow mentally and even physically, right? So he he gave me a lot of insight on this. We also did some videos. I interviewed him because I never spoke about losing weight or gaining weight because I have no experiences with others. I only have experience with myself, right? So I am not in no way the right person to ask about getting that last piece of belly fat. We need to know what is your regimen, what is your routine on eating, for example, and training. Most of the people think they train hard, right? But what is hard for you? And most people have a diet. Sometimes the diet restricts them to lose that last part of belly fat. Sometimes you need to up the calories and change the protein, carbs, and fat. How do you call it? Picture to cope with that last part of the losing the body fat. And sometimes it's even, I don't know if I should say it. It's sometimes we reach a certain age where we want to have a certain body that is not even realistic. That is an extreme example, but in this case, we're talking about, let's take Vincent. He's pretty young. So it is difficult to say what is the real reason he is having issues losing the last part of his belly fat. What I can do is I can hook him up with someone who knows and who can advise him, because we'll need information from you first, and after that we'll analyze that and say, okay, let's switch things up. And maybe there will be a point where I or him will say, my friend who is specialized in training and nutrition, he will tell you, okay, come and let me train you for a week. Let's see what you're doing. And that observation will know, he will look at your body, see how you eat and how it changes him, because how it changes the athlete, because he has a lot of experience with athletes, Mr. Shinamo, and men's physique and that kind of stuff. So he knows, he can look at you and tell you, did you have chocolate? He knows that, right? Because what the main thing is, how we have to know how our body works, and that is not only by training and eating, it's also listening to your body. And that is the most important part. What am I missing? What is going wrong? Have I asked around? How many experts have I spoken to about what I'm doing, what my goal is? And so that is what I would advise, is talk to the people who have experience, who have trained people, and who you know that will give you honest advice, because there are many ways that you can get rid of that belly fat and that kind of stuff, the shortcuts, as I know it. But for me, and I think for you, that's not the best way if health is your main priority or your priority.
Yeah, I think that's a nice way to sum it up. The you do the things yourself, but the moment you reach a plateau, don't be afraid to reach out and just ask. There's nothing wrong with asking, or you don't have to feel bad because everyone has their own specialty and range of knowledge. No one expects you to know everything or to be able to do everything by yourself. And that's a part that you need to balance out within yourself to know when, be stubborn and, yeah, I can do this myself, and to reach out and ask for help or assistance, or just shout it out and someone might listen. You never know. And it might come from the most awkward or unexpected places.